It is 6 a.m. and it is a weather action day on Denver 7 News.
We have all hands on deck as we switch from summer
We were outside all day today.
to winter overnight.
It is pretty crazy, but that's what happens here, right?
I'm Denver7's Micah Smith in Fort Collins this morning where conditions are quickly changing. I'll have a live update for you in just a few minutes.
I'm Denver7's Nicole Brady in Golden, where it is snowing on the first day of in-person school. We'll look at the impact coming up.
And good morning to you. The rain hasn't quite switched over to snow just yet over downtown Denver, but we do have some nasty looking conditions out there right now. A little slick on the roads too. This is from our Mile High camera. Good Tuesday morning to you. Thank you for counting on Denver 7 to help you navigate this September snowstorm. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Molly Hendrickson. And just a reminder, today is September 8th. This is not our earliest snowstorm on record, but certainly the earliest we've seen in decades.
We have team coverage this morning to help you prepare for the day. We have crews scattered across the Front Range, even into the high country, to show you the current conditions there. But we want to start with our meteorologist, Lisa Hidalgo, in her home weather center, tracking this changeover from the rain to the snow. Lisa.
This is early. Let's get one thing clear. This is very early for us. Typically mid-October is when we would get our first snow. Last year it was October 18th. Well, this year it's going to be September 8th. We're looking at snow developing now on the western edge of the metro area. Mainly just wet roads here in Denver. So if you're leaving within the next 30 to 45 minutes, it's mainly going to be rain. But we're starting to see that switch over in spots. We'll show you where with some of our live cameras coming up in just a minute. The switch will occur this morning. We're looking at 30s all day long, and that means this afternoon we're going to be about 60 degrees colder than where we were yesterday afternoon. We hit 93 yesterday. We hit triple-digit heat this weekend, 101, and now we're looking at highs only in the 30s. And when you look at some of the temperature changes, right now it's 24 degrees colder in Denver than the same time yesterday. As you get your kids ready, keep in mind that it is going to be cold all day. Make sure they've got a jacket, hat, potentially gloves if they're going to be out on a playground. A number of alerts that we're going to detail here coming up in just a few minutes, including a freeze warning for tonight. Plus, I'll show you how much snow we're expecting by midday tomorrow in your neighborhood coming up. We want to send it out now west to Daryl Orr, who's in Genesee, and we've seen some pretty good looking snow pictures coming out of that area.
Yeah, we have, Lisa, and you look so warm at home. It's kind of not fair this morning, but that's okay. I love it out here. We've got 28 degrees. The snow is coming down really good. Wind chill of about 25, and we have winds at about 12 miles an hour up here at Genesee, where we are at 7,800 feet above sea level. So we're up here in the losing the oxygen zone, if you will. Looking at I-70, the roads right now are just wet, a little bit of pooling in there, so there is a risk of hydroplaning this morning. And just in the last hour, look how much snow has accumulated. We've got quite a bit of packed snow here. You can make a snowman or a really good snowball, and it's going to be a fun day up here. So if you're headed back home from the Labor Day weekend or headed up into the high country, just drive carefully out there. And speaking of driving carefully, let's send it into Jason LUBER.
It is very wet out there, Daryl. You can see even with the snow that's falling in some of the areas where it's coming down pretty heavily, it is just wet, and we're looking at hydroplaning. This is, though, up in Wyoming, where I-80 is closed down because of the winter driving conditions, and we are going to see some of that weather moving this way, and all the highways in Colorado are open for now. Let me take you out to Highway 72 and 93 between Golden and Boulder. Right now, that is just wet, even though you can see the snow. Look to the extreme right and left side of the screen, and obviously you can see the snow that's sticking to the camera lens, but we do have the snow that's fallen pretty heavy out there, and it is just basically wet at this point. Take a look now down at C470 at Ken Carroll. Again, very wet with some of that snow mixing with the rain, and it's starting to fall out there on that west side of town. There is one crash out on Ken Carroll at Alkire, just a little bit east of C470. But as you look at the overall big map, I'm not seeing any big delays yet around town, whether it's out to the west side of town, up to the north side of town. Speeds are dropping down into the 50s and 60s for the most part. So we are a little higher than I expected right now, but we are seeing pretty decent driving conditions in Metro Denver, at least at this point.
All right, thanks, Jason. And this is a look at the Denver7 weather radar. You can see the snow is falling in northern Colorado, and that is where we find Denver7's Micah Smith in Fort Collins. Micah, the ground is still too warm for that snow to stick.
It is, Molly, but even so, it is cold, windy, and officially snowing here in Fort Collins. And even with the snow not sticking to the roadway, it's honestly still wet and a little bit icy in places, so you want to make sure, again, that you're going slow. We've been saying that all morning. We're going to be a broken record because this is the first snow, and we got to get used to that again. Now, the snow, really good news for the region. We've been in drought-like conditions for a very, very long time now. Even take a look at the ground here. This is just grass on the side of the road. It almost looks like hay because it is just that dry up here. So dare I say it, this is great news, and we could actually use a little bit more. I may regret saying that in about 2 or 3 months. I'll let you hold me to it. But the runoff from the snow, really, really great news for the region. And as far as conditions out here, we expect this snow to start sticking really in the next few hours. Reporting live, Micah Smith, Denver7.
All right, thank you, Micah. And the snow and cold will only help the wildfires burning in our state. It should also help clear up skies along the Front Range, which, of course, were very hazy over the weekend, with ash even falling in the metro. This will prove pivotal in the fight against the Cameron Peak fire in Larimer County. It's burning more than 96,000 acres right now. It is the 4th largest on record in state history. Evacuation orders are in effect for the Red Feather and Crystal Lake areas. Though the snow is certainly a blessing for firefighters, it's not expected to completely put out the Cameron Peak fire.
Kids in Jefferson County are headed back to school today, dressed in their winter coats and boots. It is the first day of in-person learning for kids in Jeffco. What a strange experience on so many levels. Denver7's Nicole Brady continues our live team coverage from Golden this morning. How are things where you are?
You can see, obviously, Brian, it is snowing, starting to accumulate a little bit here on the grass. You can see the snow sticking there, but it's pretty wet. It's not sticking to the pavement, and it is still pretty warm, as Micah was saying, for that. But it's going to keep snowing, and so as you said, the kids who normally would be coming to the first day of school in t-shirts and shorts and sandals, they're going to be in coats and hats and boots today, just adding to the strangeness of this school year that was already so weird. Jeffco started remote learning 2 weeks ago, but today's the first day back here at Shelton Elementary School. The kids getting a nice welcome back sign here. But the school districts are talking about the weather. I want to kind of show you what they're saying. Jeffco this morning warning that buses could be delayed for the start of in-person learning, so be patient. Douglas County Schools tweeted this morning they're monitoring the weather and will update families with any changes. Dougco is on a hybrid model, so some kids are in person today. And Denver schools, even though they're still fully remote, some remote learning support centers that were in person are going to be affected today. And meal service, lunches that are being served at some schools, those could be affected. So check the DPS website for that information. For the kids coming to school today, though, just bundle up, be prepared for a very different type of recess today. And yeah, masks might feel pretty good on the faces today. We're live in Golden. Nicole Brady, Denver7.
All right, thank you, Nicole. Drivers also be careful around the campuses. Some good news about the storm. The snow likely won't stick to the roads because the ground is still so warm, but CDOT does have 100 plows ready to go, mostly monitoring I-70 from Golden to the Eisenhower Tunnel and across the metro area. Denver's Department of Transportation says they also have plow drivers ready to go.
The snow is expected to pick up throughout the metro later this morning, so make sure you download the Denver7 app for your favorite streaming device. Starting at 7 o'clock, we'll have extended coverage with the latest weather and traffic conditions on Denver7 News for your Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Android devices.